okay, if you're really smart and driven, um, I would say find a place that's on the, if you're willing to, find a smaller company that's going to be able to reward you and give you opportunities quickly. I work for a big company, and I would recommend to anyone working at Amazon if they could. Um, but uh, small companies can often be more agile in the jobs uh, that you can do. They will let you do more because they need more. They're more desperate. Honestly, they have more work. They're less rigid. And so big companies have more structure. They have better mentors. They have more training usually. They have better benefits. So there's nothing wrong with a big company. But I would potentially look at a smaller company. I learned a ton early in my career and definitely got to do things that I had no business doing because I was working for startups. And so startups don't have things. So, like, for example, I'm an engineer. Engineers are normally the last people on earth you would let run human resources. But I had an interest in it. And I worked at a couple startups. They couldn't afford a human resources person. They didn't have anyone. So when I stepped up and said, "Don't worry, I'll do all the recruiting and all the HR," they were like, "Thank God. We're busy fundraising, we're busy selling. You figure that benefit stuff out. You figure out." And so I got to make up all the benefits. Um, so that was maybe self-interested. Um, yeah. So somebody in chat, Solarin, I like your comments. Says you fail more at startups, you learn more. Yes, failure is a painful but good teacher. Chad, if you have other advice for our student, feel free to chime in. By the way, let's see. Life will not work out totally as you plan, but if you have the right attitude, it will work out. I agree with that. Passion. Do something. That is great advice. Thank you. Um, uh, do what you're passionate about. You will do much better at it. Uh, you'll feel more energized. It will feel less like work. Um, Years ago, I worked for a company that was doing telco infrastructure. So we built software to be sold to people like AT&T. The job was great, meaning that's where I learned to run human resources and recruiting and all this stuff. The people I worked with were fantastic, and the product bored me to death. Um, and so I would absolutely say, and I've never worked in a back end product again. Like Twitch, and people don't know this, Twitch and Amazon Games were part of Amazon Web Services. And Amazon Web Services, of course, the cloud computing infrastructure at Amazon. It's fantastic. It's huge. It's incredibly reliable. But it's not what I like to do. I like to build things for end consumers, which is why I work at Twitch, and it's why I'm here. I like to talk to actual people. I don't like to do business to business. So even though that business is incredible, it's not the right fit for me. So my advice, which someone said here, attitude before aptitude, um, completely true. Uh, so yeah, someone here echoed what I said. Uh, which is I work in a small software dev company and I'm doing and leading things I shouldn't really be doing, and it's benefiting me enormously. And I couldn't agree with that more. Try to get into a place that you don't belong. Um, I was recently talking to a friend of mine who is a rock climbing guide. I had been out climbing in Las Vegas with my wife at Red Rocks, and he said, "Look, you should always be climbing beyond your ability. Go climb something you have no business being on." He had some ways to do that safely, but the point is push yourself. This is how you're going to get better. And we're talking here about Smarter You. Smarter You is all about pushing yourself. It's all about learn, fail, read books. We'll talk more about books, but keep reading. Keep listening to Easy Coach, please. But also then just keep after some sort of education and self-improvement, because that's the only thing that's going to make you better over time. And a few hours a week turns into a few hundred hours a year, turns into a few thousand hours a decade, and no one can keep up with you.